What kind of mistakes are people making with their titles?
Too long, too boring, sometimes too specific. The big mistake that a lot of people make is they try to be too clever. People are just scrolling real quickly through the homepage. If nobody knows like what your video is about, then they can't click, like they don't care.
You gotta just press record.
Today we have Jake Thomas, who is a YouTube title expert. He's worked with some massive YouTube channels, and he is the founder of creatorhooks.com. Jake, thanks for hopping on, dude. I'm excited to talk to you all about YouTube titles, but also video ideation. And I think a lot of people, when they, get started on YouTube, one of the reasons they don't get views is because they simply don't have good ideas. And that is a major takeaway I've just had over the past couple of years, is how important that is, because literally the title and the thumbnail, the packaging of how you package this video has such an effect, because if people don't click on your video, they're not going to watch it. Can you talk to me about your workflow for, what makes you think this one will work versus looking at another idea and saying, nah, that one probably won't work? What are you looking for?
Yeah. So like the easiest way is to just model what has been proven to work. So there's like what I call the DJ Khaled method. You're remixing proven topics with proven frameworks. So I used to be a channel manager at a fishing company, and we were pretty niche. We were like saltwater fishing in the southeastern United States. There weren't, and we were also an educational channel, and there weren't that many other channels doing what we were doing. So I couldn't really just rely on okay, cool, my competitor did this, so let me just copy that and then do that too. So I had to come up with quote new stuff. But I would just look at a finance channel, and they would have top 10 credit cards of 2024. So I'd be like, all right, well, let me do top 10 trout lures of 2024, top 10 redfish lures of 2024. And that just remixing something that worked for somebody else and remixing it for my channel was the thing that kind of opened my eyes. Oh, this is actually what makes a good YouTube title. I don't have to come up with anything crazy. I can just model what is proven to work. I think the big mistake that a lot of people make is they only want to look inside of their niche. But the problem with that is that you're never going to bring anything new and fresh to your audience. But yeah, the easiest thing is just how can you remix titles from other niches for your channel? Now,
we mentioned you've written, thousands of YouTube titles, but you've also just studied way more, titles. And I know you've done a lot of really cool studies where you've kind of broken down what works in a title. What kind of mistakes are people making? Are they too long? Do they not speak to a certain desire? What do you typically see? What would be some tips for people just to improve their titles?
Yeah, I mean, too long, too boring, sometimes too specific. And then also not giving your audience why they subscribe to your channel in the first place. So a super interesting kind of niche example of that is there was this video effects channel, and they uploaded how Jurassic Park did this thing and how Marvel did this thing. And those videos were all about visual effects, but then they uploaded a video about storytelling, and it wasn't quite visual effects. And that video just tanked. And it was, storytelling is super important. And that was a really well-written title, but it wasn't what their audience expected from their channel. So knowing your audience that's step one, and giving them what they want from you. That really depends on, are they there for you or are they there for the topic? Biggest thing that people do is they try to be too clever. Clarity beats cleverness every single day. If nobody knows what your video is about, then they can't click. They don't care, especially on YouTube, and kind of especially depends on what traffic source you're going for. So if you were trying to get recommended on the YouTube homepage, people are just scrolling real quickly through the homepage. They're not really thinking critically, what is this video about? So if you make the subject of your video maybe it's at the end of the title and there's a bunch of words behind what your video is actually about, someone's just gonna scroll by. They don't want to give the mental energy to read the whole title. And I know that sounds kind of silly when you say it out loud, but that's just the way it is when someone's quickly scrolling. If you're trying to rank in search, you can have a little bit longer titles. You can try to appeal to a couple different desires of why this person is searching, because someone is they're actively searching, they're actively thinking about, do I want to watch this video? Like, does this video deliver on what I'm looking for? Not just like, mindlessly scrolling and just kind of thinking like, oh, this video sounds cool, like I'm gonna click on that. Being clear and knowing your audience are probably the two biggest things that people need to work on, need to fix.
I love that. One example that I've started to study a little bit deeper too, I love your thoughts, Jake, is the Diary of a CEO. And they kind of have this template of a thumbnail where they have a quote and it's pretty eye-catching. So as an example, they have this person in this thumbnail and it says, "We've got ADHD wrong," in quotes. And that catches your attention, right? Because there's some curiosity elements. But what I've noticed that they started doing in their titles is, for almost everyone, they don't usually use their name. They usually add context as to like their authority. So in this one, it's Harvard doctor. And so now we know, oh, the guy who's saying this is a Harvard doctor. So it adds context to the thumbnail. And then it says the hidden link between your diet, ADHD, and autism. And so they're actually using the title to add context to the thumbnail. And I'm kind of curious your perspective on how people can use titles almost as a 1-2 punch in combination with their thumbnail to add context or to add in maybe extra information. I'm curious if what you think about that.
Yeah, I love it. I guess another mistake that a lot of people make is that they kind of repeat their title in the thumbnail, and it's not exactly like it's more of like a missed opportunity, because you have the ability to kind of attack somebody's mind from like different angles. Like you can use fear in the title and then like curiosity in the thumbnail, or vice versa. Or you can use like desire in the title and then like fear in the thumbnail. So I love thinking of it like a 1-2 punch, your thumbnail and your title text, and thinking, how can these play off of each other? How can I attack it from a different angle? And like the easiest way to think about it is there are three click-worthy emotions: fear, curiosity, and desire. And if you just mix and match those in your titles and thumbnails, and it could be like, here's the same idea, but like, let me write this as like kind of like curiosity based for the thumbnail, and then let me write it as like fear based for the title.
Can we break that down real quick? Because that to me is a huge takeaway. So you said it's fear, curiosity, and core desire. So let's take an example, even maybe for Think Media, and it's like how to get views on YouTube is maybe the overall content of what we're talking about.
Yeah. So you could do like how to get more views on YouTube in 2024. Like that's the desire. You're also kind of like writing on like timeliness, because it's the beginning of the year currently. Everybody's thinking about 2024. So dropping in like 2024 kind of heightens that desire. And it's like, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to get more views on YouTube in 2024. So you're getting a little bit more specific there. And then your thumbnail could be like, stop doing this. So that's like a warning, so that you got fear there. And then like doing this with like an arrow pointing to something that you're already doing, that builds curiosity because it's counterintuitive, and it's a warning, stop doing this. So you got fear, curiosity and fear. And then in your title, you have desire, how to get more views on YouTube in 2024. So in that case, you've hit all three of those emotions.
Hey, real quick, I want to shout out today's sponsor, Video.ai. Video.ai is a tool where you can upload your long form videos or podcasts, and it will automatically chop it up for you to repurpose into shorts and clips with customizable animated captions and brand kits. My favorite way to use this tool is for finding podcast clips that we can upload to our YouTube channel. I simply upload a video and then it breaks down the entire conversation so that I can skim through the topics to find something that would make a great clip. This saves me a ton of time, so I don't have to rewatch the entire podcast looking for good clips. From here, all I need to do is edit it how I would like, export it, and then upload it to our YouTube channel. Now, if you want to give it a try, check out the link in the description of this video.
So we just talked about like the Diary of a CEO. And you were saying it like they start their titles with like Harvard doctor, Harvard professor, the fasting doctor, the mental health doctor. So that's like using authority, but like kind of being broad. And you instantly know like, oh, the fasting doctor, like, yeah, if I'm interested in fasting, this is awesome. And then also is just as far as like talking about like specific benefits, like the perfect character length for your YouTube titles. It's like, you don't know that you need to know that, and it's not that exciting. Right. If you talk about it in kind of like broad, easily understood terms, like get more YouTube views. It's kind of the same thing as like, Harvard doctor. Like it's so much easier to understand and to get excited about when you use like simple words and simple terms like that.
It's just like, it's marketing 101. We should be marketing our YouTube videos on the homepage by not giving away all the details and holding a little bit back so that you actually can bring in someone and give them the value. And I think that reframe is super, super smart.
Yeah. And also YouTube like isn't unique. It's just psychology and it's just marketing. Like our psychology has not changed. You can get title and thumbnail inspiration from Instagram ads and Facebook ads because it's just psychology. And those people are spending a ton of money to run those ads. Like, they're testing those hooks. So if you see something all the time or if like something grabs your attention, like just take a note of it, because that's one awesome way to bring in fresh ideas to your audience, because you're not just copying what everybody else has done on YouTube, but you're getting something new, but like something that's proven to work.
Plug for you, Jake, because I love using Creator Hooks, and your new tool on Creator Hooks Pro, the remix tool, where you can take a title and then remix it to make it your own, has been very awesome for me to come up with video ideas, but then also it gives me such good titles. And so I want to hear, we'll have a link down in the description if people want to check that out. But how do you see most AI tools? I feel like they don't give good titles, but somehow you've used yours to like use these templates of things that are actually working. And so I'm curious your thoughts on, should people be using AI to come up with YouTube title ideas? Are there any good tools out there that you'd recommend?
Yeah, AI is interesting. I guess I'm like biased because I have an AI tool and I like it. And I think it does well because we have a database of like almost 1,000 proven YouTube titles. So the title generator and the remixer are only getting inspiration from proven YouTube titles. It's not using, whatever GPT-4 was like trained on what makes a good YouTube title. It's just like saying, hey, here are 1,000 YouTube titles. Give me some titles that are similar to these. So I think that's how we have been able to create a good AI title generator.
What advice would you give to that person who's still maybe new to YouTube and they're going to try and take some of the advice you've given? What would you tell that person if they really wanted to make it on YouTube?
So this reminds me of a story with one of my most successful videos was from you. And we were chatting and I thought that my videos were good. And you were looking at my scripts and you're like, dude, this actually kind of sucks. Like, why don't you do this, this, and this? I've already made like 50 or 100 videos. I thought I knew what was good, and getting an outside perspective, was incredibly helpful. So I think, people all the time will say, oh, I know my content is good, but I just need help with my titles. 100% of the time, when I go check out their channel, their content stinks. So even if you think that you're good at titles and thumbnails and ideas and like content, you can always get better. And I honestly, getting experienced friends is the best thing that I've ever done to grow on YouTube. And just taking an actual look at your content and your titles and your thumbnails, look at them compared to your competitors. Watch your video and their video and then their video and your video back to back. Look at their titles and think is my content actually as good? Are my thumbnails actually as clear? Are my titles and ideas actually as interesting and actually as clear as they can be? And I think that if you can do that, you are going to have success on YouTube. It's very painful. It's really painful for someone to watch your content that you work so hard on and tell you, man, this stinks. You can do a lot better. However, that is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, I absolutely love that advice. I hope they feel encouraged by that, because the thing is, everyone can get better, and sometimes it's just nice to know maybe I'm not getting views because my videos aren't as good as I thought. In my eyes, it kind of starts with the script. And it starts with actually scripting out a good piece of content. And we have a video on our channel on how to script out your YouTube video. So if you guys want to check out that video, just click on the screen. Check that out. Jake, thank you so much. Check the link in the description if you want to follow Jake around. We'll see you guys in the next video.